All right, so now we are on to section 7.4, and we're going to be adding, subtracting rational expressions with unlike common denominators now. So if we look at this example, remember, you've got to make the denominator same. So what is the 2 missing? Well, it's missing a 3, and you have to multiply it top and bottom. And what is this one missing that one has? Well, it has a 2, so I'm going to have to multiply that top and bottom. So that would give me 2, 6 plus 3, 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. And I do not add the bottoms. The bottom just stays the same. So I would come out with 5, 6. All right. So having said that, with numbers, we're going to have to do this with our exponents. So here we go. All right. So what is this equation missing that this one has? Okay, well, this has a 9. This doesn't have a 9, so I need a 9. And how do I make the x's the same? Well, I need another x, so I'm going to have to multiply the top and the bottom by 9x, and this one by 9x. Okay, so 9x times 3 gives me 27x over 9x squared plus 7 over 9x squared. Okay, this particular example, I only had to change one of the denominators, whereas this one, I had to change both of them. And so you're going to have to go through this whole session looking to see which denominators you need to do. Now I can do 27 plus 7, so that gives me 27x plus 7 all over 9x squared. Okay, now you cannot just go and cancel those x's just like on any other of our sessions what we've done. You can't just go and cancel. But do take a quick look. I didn't see that this happened in the homework, but sometimes you can reduce, you could factor this top, at which point then you could reduce the bottom. So just always take that look, see if you can factor and reduce the fraction. Okay, it might just sneak up on one problem and bite you, and it's just that you need to reduce. All right, what about this one? Okay, well, I don't know how to make this into an x squared minus 100. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this denominator and I'm going to factor it. Okay? So again, factoring is our key here. And this is a perfect square. And I know it's a perfect square because of this, because x times x makes x squared. 10 times 10 makes 100. And I can factor it because we have that minus. So I'm going to get plus 10 and minus 10. All right, so now I've gotten rid of that. All right, so over here, I'm going to put this in parentheses, okay? All right, this has an x plus 10, and this one has an x plus 10, but this has an x minus 10. This one does not, so I need to add an x minus 10. So I'm going to multiply it by x minus 10 on the top and the bottom. All right, so 11 times x gives me 11x minus 110 all over x plus 10 and x minus 10 minus 10x over x plus 10 and x minus 10. All right, so now I can do the math. 11x minus 10x equals 1x minus 110 all over x plus 10 and x minus 10. Something else to note, you can always write this, you can deal with the denominator as 1x, oops, hold on. So you could have just written this as 11x minus 110 minus 10x all over x plus 10 and x minus 10, okay? But from this point, you need to make sure you go to that stage. So you need to take these, your like terms, and combine them, okay? So always combine your like terms. Note that this minus sign could come up and bite you because don't forget you're going to have to distribute to everything that's up here. This only has one item, but we're going to get problems that have 2 or 3 things that you might have to distribute to. Okay, the other thing I'm going to suggest is don't worry about foiling this out. Do not multiply this out because we're going to get to ones that we have 3 or 4 little pods down there on the bottom, and you don't want to do that because it's not fun. So here's another example. Okay, can I factor x minus 6? Nope. Can I factor x minus 15? Nope. All right, so x minus 15 does not have an x minus 6, so I'm going to have to multiply x minus 6 top and bottom. Okay, well, we have an x minus 6. We've got that over here now, but we don't have this x minus 15, so I'm going to have to add the x minus 15 to this one. All right, so now I'm going to distribute, so I get 2x squared minus 12x over x minus 15 and x minus 6 minus x squared minus 15x all over x minus 6, x minus 15. Okay, and note that I have not written them the exact same way. You may want to, but they are the same because remember a times b is the same as b times a. So you can write them the same way or you can write them like I have. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but this is like what I was talking in problem number 2. I'm going to have to distribute that negative all the way through. So I will have 2x squared minus 12x minus x squared plus 15x all over x minus 15, x minus 6. Okay, let me combine my like terms. So I have 2x squared minus x squared, so that leaves me x squared. And then I have negative 12x plus 15, so that gives me plus 3x all over x minus 15 times x minus 6. Okay, and I want to just make sure that I cannot reduce this, and I can see I can factor this numerator by using the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is x, so I'm going to pull that out, x plus 3, and then I have x minus 15 times x minus 6. Nothing can be reduced, so you can enter in your answer either as x squared plus 3 over x minus 15, x minus 6, or you can write it as x parentheses x plus 3, just like that. It really doesn't matter. You can choose which method you would like to use, and Math Excel is accepting of both. All right, here's another one. So I have 2x plus 4s here. Do I have 2x plus 4s here? I do not, so I need to add one more. So I'm going to add another x plus 4 here. X plus 4. Okay, so now I have everything that this one has. Okay, so let's look at what this one doesn't have. Well, it has 2x plus 4s. This has 2x plus 4s, but it doesn't have that x minus 4. So let's add the x minus 4. X minus 4. All right, so I'm going to do my distribution on top. So I'm going to do 2 times x, which gives me 2x plus 4 all over, and I'm going to write this as x plus 4 squared times x minus 4. Okay, plus then 5 times x minus 20 over the x plus 4 squared times x minus 4. Okay, now I can come down and I can do 2x plus 5x, which gives me 7x. And then I have 4 minus 20 gives me 16x all over x plus 4 squared times x minus 4. All right, and I note I cannot factor. I do not have greatest